This beef jerky is so bland. I need something more. What are the kids saying these days? Organic. Well, guys, now there is something more organic. It's called follicle nuts. Old dead hair from your own hair cells that's been harvested into organic protein nuts. Now, if you want the higher protein, try the follicle lice nuts. Obviously, Carl is sold out of those. You check it out at yankitcutitchompit.lice. Hello, everybody. This is Derek, and with me today is the only man who still uses thick and rough tree bark as a trowel and a hairbrush. Guys, it's not for his head, though, obviously. It's for his pit hair. This is Carl Mandrioli. How you doing, buddy?
Welcome to the Backpacking Listeners Podcast. With me today is Derek Somerville. He's a man that thinks that Yosemite was made a national park, so people didn't take it for granted.
That's funny. That was actually pretty good.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that one flowed a little bit.
I'm a little nervous for National Parks episode with you, my friend.
Do you like my Big Sur coffee mug here?
I do.
Yeah. I know you want one.
Do you think that relates to national parks?
Maybe. Maybe not.
I think you do think that. And this is exactly what I was just talking about. I'm nervous about this episode for you because you don't really know what national parks are.
Oh, is that right? I like that you love to just set me up to fail. And today you're going to be wowed. So I need you to calm down. And I just hope you didn't bring up like lame parks like we all know. You know, did you do a little digging? Did you do a little research?
I've got some good stuff. I think, I don't know if we're going to have any crossover, but just going back to what just happened, I said I was nervous about you with this episode, and you're like, well, check out my non-national park mug that I think is a national park.
Well, I just thought it was proof. It doesn't have to be a national park mug. It's still a park. It's the Redwoods.
Exactly. If you have a list of 3 to 4, at least 1 or 2 are going to be non-national parks on your list, is my prediction.
Sure. Okay. Great. Whatever you want. Whatever you want to think.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
Mock me if you will.
What would make a national park bad for backpacking, in your opinion?
Conditions, poor trail signage, poor trail maintenance, difficult permits, and probably overcrowding.
Okay.
So, those are probably the basics, but I don't know. I found some that I was like, why would anybody go here and consider it? I don't know. It's just, I found some that are just, I don't know. I'm surprised people even go to some of these, but they do.
And the hope is that we're not just going to focus on why you shouldn't go somewhere, but we'll provide some alternatives as well along the way.
You can. It's fine.
Yeah. Because I know some alternatives.
I'm just giving you the dirty.
You'll just show your mug and be like, Big Sur, go to Big Sur.
Well, they should go to Big Sur, but B, I'm just going to tell them where not to go.
Okay.
I'm saving them agony.
All right. And also in this episode, we have a reaction to the last episode. One of our buddies that goes backpacking with us took exception to something that Derek said, borderline offended, and sent us a little audio clip that we're going to get to.
Good.
So we'll get to that.
Good. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that, by the way.
Yeah, I know you are. And so anyway, this episode is brought to you by Enlightened Equipment, the lightest quilts to bring to the best national parks. Check them out at enlightenedequipment.com. All right. Bible verse of the episode is Psalm 27:1. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? So keeping that in mind, it's like, who shall I fear? Derek, what's the scariest place you've ever been to?
Scariest place? Ooh, that's a good question. I would say, gosh, I got to think about that. It was probably a small village in, where was that? I think it was in Jamaica, actually. Fiji or Jamaica, I don't remember. And it was,
I don't remember. I go everywhere in the world, so it's one of those random islands.
It was one of those random islands. I think it was Jamaica. And we were doing some like missionary work or whatever. And then a bunch of the local men surrounded our group and were making kind of threatening remarks and whatnot. So I was like, oh, this could go bad quick. But as far as like creepy environment, like, are you talking like that kind of, or are you talking like creepy environment, like nature?
Anything works.
I mean, for me, the Jamaican place is probably the scariest because you're like, oh, I feel like actually, like something could really bad happen right now. So luckily it didn't. But
yeah.
Here I am, Carl.
Okay.
What about you? Is it, other than the bathroom, like what's the scariest?
The bathroom's pretty scary, for sure. I mean, scariest place for me when I almost died in Yosemite, so there's that spot on Yosemite Falls, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, where
That's
you're
right. Yeah.
trapped in a waterfall is probably the scariest place. But the reason why I asked that question is because on my list, at least, I do have one national park that people, you could consider like just straight up scary. That's why it's on the list. So we'll see if you agree. Yeah.
Creepy? Okay.
Yeah, like, and when I say that, I don't mean like, oh, there's a little something to it. There's like a lot to it. So we'll get to that. All right. So what are you telling your list? You got 3 or 4 of the worst national parks?
I have 3. Let me see. I have 3. Did I do a 4th? I think I might have done a 4th. Yeah. No, I did 3. No, I have 4. Yeah.
Okay.
I got 4.
And
What do you got?
you had a good definition for the most part for why one might make your list. To add to what you said, I feel like there's like 4 major hindrances of like overregulation. You mentioned like the permits and stuff. But I would add to that like limitation of campfires, requiring bear canisters, established backcountry sites. They don't let you choose kind of your own backcountry site. There's like a lot of criteria. So I'm curious how that shook out for you. But we don't have to go in any order. Just kind of
I went extreme.
All right.
Why don't you go first? Let's see what you got. How many do you have? 4? You got 4?
I got 4 on my list, but my first category kind of hits a few of them. So
Category. Okay.
yeah. Well, you'll see. So
Please.
worst national parks for backpacking. I would say, shocker, every national park that doesn't actually allow backpacking, and there's some out there, surprisingly.
That's a very general.
Well, a lot of people think I want to hit some different national parks, and so Acadia is a popular park to visit, but you can't actually physically backpack there.
Just day trips. Is that what we're
Yeah,
saying?
just day trips. And then there's some that you can backpack in, like Arches National Park, for example, but you can't backpack in the good spots where the good arches are. You're on like the outskirts of the area, and it's just like there's nothing.
What's the
much
point
to see?
Yeah.
What's the
We
point?
were just talking about that a little while ago.
Yeah, because I think you wanted to go there, right?
Yeah, I've only driven by a couple times. I've never stopped by.
Yeah, that's probably you're close to having stopped by just driving by. It's kind of the same thing.
It's kind of the same thing. Like I probably pretty much saw it, so I'll just count it.
Yeah.
I'll just count it. Yeah.
So Acadia and parks like that, or that have very limited backpacking, like I would not even try. So there you go.
Fair. Okay, that's good. That's a fair one. My first one, I don't know. This is kind of funny. I thought it kind of stuck out to me. So this was just named a national park in 2018. And in my opinion, it should be more of a national monument. But the city decided to name this place a national park to strengthen their tourism hopes and their economy and all this stuff. So this is kind of a funny one, but it's the Gateway National Park, the Arches, or the Arch in St. Louis, Missouri.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they named it. I renamed it a national park. And they're like, this is not a national park. Yeah, go ahead, get your Google out. Go ahead, get your Google out.
I'm looking at
I love that, like, when we do these shows, like, immediately doubts me. Why do you even have me do this stuff?
Immediately, I
Why
doubted
don't
you.
Listen,
While I came up with the topic, it
this
was
is
even
good.
before
I'm
that.
glad. You know what? Here, folks, B&B family, here's what I saw. I'm on here. This is on the YouTube channel. He's like, what's your first one? Well, tell me your first one. I was like, I name it. And his arms immediately just like jut forward to the keyboard. And I'm
Correct.
like, listen, you have some control issues, and I love you, but like, dude,
It's not control. It's lack of faith in your research.
I gotta
issues.
verify. He thinks I'm dumb, and that's fine.
No, I don't think you're dumb. I just don't. Dude, you're super smart, man. Are you serious?
I know that, but I don't know if you know that.
I think you're highly intelligent, but for whatever reason, there's a gap in your knowledge about what is a national park, and that's why I'm.
Why don't you look it up? Why don't we all pause the show and look it up? Go ahead.
You're correct.
Please.
I looked it up. This is a great answer.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Great answer. Yeah.
What?
But can you go backpacking under the arch?
Did I
in St.
stump
Louis?
you? The great man really didn't know that. That's crazy. I just taught you something today. You're welcome. You know what I'm going to hold? I'm going to hold up my Big Sur non-national park mug here and show you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you didn't know. Yeah, it was crazy though, I thought. Why would they do that? It's kind of like, oh, I'm going to go hit all the national parks now. Because you know there's people that have that bucket list. I got to get all the national parks. And now you got to go do that.
You just answered your own question why they would do it. Because they're trying to bring tourism there.
I guess, but like I would be extremely disappointed if I'm thinking national park, I'm thinking hiking, I'm thinking trails, I'm thinking all this other stuff, and it's just like, Oh, it's like a monument.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Well, I agree that it could be a monument. There's national parks, or there's national monuments that could be national parks. Like, I don't even really know the difference because a lot of times they have trail systems. This one doesn't. But would you agree that this still hits the same category I literally just said as places you can't go backpacking?
Yeah, but I didn't know you wrote that, so
Okay.
I'll put that in my can't go backpacking category.
Fair enough.
Fair?
Fair enough.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's a good one. All right. Now I'm gonna get a little bit controversial because I know that there's folks that either want to go to some of these places I have on my list, or they have been there and they might defend them to their death. But I'll start with an easy one. So I put out a few years ago on our Patreon site, I was like, hey, where do you guys want to have the next Patreon trip? And I had a little survey there. And overwhelmingly, the number one answer was Yellowstone National Park.
Ooh.
Yellowstone.
Okay. And you're going to disappoint everybody.
People think Yellowstone is, because it's one of the first national parks, it's one of the most well-known national parks, that it is a great option for backpacking. I think it's the opposite. I think if you want to see geysers, if you want to drive the road and see rando wild animals, I think it's great for car camping, for just visiting, for tourism. But for national parks, it's just going to be a lot of forest and not a whole lot else. There's not a lot of epic scenery in Yellowstone for backpacking. Right. Therefore, it's on my list.
It's on your list. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Driving through is probably the better option in my opinion. But people don't really care about that. They want to go camp it and do it, even though it's maybe not as grand as a Yosemite or some of these other places that we've been, but Glacier National. But I don't know.
Right.
I mean, you're also out there with some pretty gnarly animals out there too, right?
I mean, if you're looking for that, but a lot of people are afraid of that stuff, so that's the issue, right?
Well, maybe they're afraid. Maybe the animals.
I'm not afraid.
Are just wandering through their territory and they decide to pee. They might pee on your tent. You might try to take a picture of a wolf and something might happen.
That's right.
You're that kind of guy.
Opportunity.
Yeah, you're that kind of guy.
I did a day hiking in Yellowstone a few years back to a waterfall, and even that was just kind of a yucky waterfall that the Red River Gorge that we went to last year had better waterfalls than that. So I think you could make the case that Red River Gorge minus the animals is a better option.
I mean, do you think they just package Yellowstone as it's just? I'm not saying it's not amazing. It's a beautiful place for sure. But they're packaging it different. This is nature's wild area, and it's got these geysers. It's got the wool. It's got all this. It's untouched in so many areas, but it's not maybe backpacker friendly as some of these other places are, right? You have Yellowstone Glacier, and they have these amazing trails on these ridge lines, and you're just seeing valleys and mountains and streams and waterfalls. Whereas it's not like that really in Yosemite, right? Oh, I'm going to go see Old Faithful. It's not really that faithful anymore. And then maybe see some cool animals, but isn't it? It's just kind of one big...
Backpacker friendly is an interesting term. I don't know that national parks in general are backpacker friendly. I think they're backpacker regulated in an increasing way, and there's Big Brother watching you every step of the way, it feels like in some of those parks. Even Glacier National Park is not on my list. It's not. But I feel how many rangers do we run into in Glacier?
A lot.
Nonstop.
A lot.
Yeah.
That was the most.
3 the first day. 3 the first day. Yeah, backcountry rangers, 3 the first day. So anyway. All right. So I offered an alternative. I said Red River Gorge over Yellowstone is what I said. So... and then I guess we didn't offer an alternative for the St. Louis Arch. How about any other place? Any place that has a trail would be better.
Any place that has a trail. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. For sure. Dirt. Give me some dirt.
Right, what's next on your list?
I went with the Hot Springs National Park in Arkansas. It's become, I'll say over commercialized, where there's a lot of shops now, people. A lot of the trails that you go on are going to be mainly sidewalks. It's basically become a huge mall kind of situation. So in addition to the park fee, you also have to pay a $10 parking fee.
Really?
So there are 26 miles of trails.
Okay.
There are some wide trails, kind of fire roady kind of trails, but it doesn't feel... Wow. From the research I'm doing, it doesn't feel like you're out in nature. It doesn't feel hey, I'm in the wilderness. It's there's a bunch of shops over here, and it's just a million people, and there's sidewalks for trails, and it's I don't know. It doesn't really feel.
Can you backpack there?
I mean, it's kind of like you would do, right? You would take the backpack to the store, so it's kind of like that.
I don't think you know. I don't think you looked that up, did you?
I didn't. Well, once I read all this, I'm like, why would I go?
Okay, well, just to confirm.
Well, think about it. Are you going to bring a huge, like, 42 liter, 60 liter, whatever backpack and like walk around with all these people at the shops? Maybe some people do, but there's 26 miles of all this ridicularity, and I saw nothing of campsites. I don't know. So
Okay. I don't think you can backpack there.
I don't think
because
you
it says like to go to regulated campgrounds, and it looks like it's.
Oh, you're
like,
Googling that too.
the-
He's Googling every answer.
Oh no, every answer you have.
Every
answer
I
is
love
going to
it.
be
I
Googled.
love that. That
Yeah.
really promotes confidence in your friend. That's good.
No, I don't have any confidence in you for this episode. I already
I
told
know
you
you
that.
don't. And
keep on rehashing
Are you learning that you're falsely doubting your own friend? Is that what you're learning so far?
No. I think that you've now
You're 0
hit.
for 2. You've become a keyboard warrior troll. That's what you've become. I hope this is in the promo video. Put that in the promo video.
I said let's knock out all the national parks that don't allow backpacking, and then I listed one specifically with Acadia, and then your first two answers are national parks that don't allow backpacking. 2 in a row.
You wanted that parks that were the worst national parks for backpacking, right? So
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't know you were going to come up with your first answers like, this is the category for trails, and you should have known that, Derek. Like, how am I supposed? I'm putting these in the worst. This is the worst. Why would I ever go here?
All right, moving along.
Next one, go.
I've got okay. This one is one of the most popular national parks in the United States, and this one is going to be controversial for folks. But you and I have both backpacked here, and we both liked it. Rocky Mountain National Park. Rocky Mountain on my list. Where's to go? First of all, it is a very scenic park, so that part's great. But you can get all that scenery from day hikes. You don't have to go backpacking to capture like special scenery. So let's kind of check that off the list, right? But in the last few years, it has become overly aggressive with their monitoring of people. So, for example, I went last summer. They had a ranger guarding the trailhead asking to see our bear canisters. And then I said, aren't there bear boxes installed at these backcountry sites that you're forcing me to stay at?
Yes.
And she said, yes. And I said, well, do you require us to carry bear canisters if bear boxes are already installed?
That's absurd.
And she said, yes.
That is a huge deterrent for me. Was it like that? It wasn't like that back when we went at all.
No, it was better. That's what I'm saying. This wouldn't have been on my list like 10, 15 years ago. No campfires allowed. The permits are crazy. The trails are overcrowded. You mentioned that. It kind of hits, it checks all the boxes of why you wouldn't want to go to a place. Like, don't get me wrong, it's scenic there, and I love being there, but there's so many, it's so overregulated. I mean, just simply, I wasn't at the most popular trailhead, and there was a ranger guarding the trailhead. So I think that says it all.
That's annoying. That is very annoying.
Yeah.
Was that the place, remind me, was that the place we saw the llama ranger? That was the same place, right?
Correct.
I wonder if they're still patrolling on llamas.
On llamas? Was she riding a llama? Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, with a llama.
Yeah.
She wasn't riding it, but she had the llama.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
We can go back and find out. She was a nice ranger, and she helped us, and that was great.
Yeah.
But
that's still a big deterrent, though. They've clearly cracked down a little bit. That's a sad situation there.
I mean, I live a couple hours from Rocky Mountain National Park, and I'm not going to go there ever again for backpacking. I'll visit for other reasons, but not for backpacking.
That's sad. Okay, I got a good one here. I like this one. It was the Indiana Dunes.
Acadia?
No, God. Indiana Dunes National Park. You can go backpack. However, it was a little different. It was most of the dunes are covered in poison ivy. I don't know if you're into that. And it's also on the shore.
Wait, they're covered? There's not there's no sand exposed. It's just you're walking on poison ivy.
Well, there's poison ivy in a lot of places. I'll say that. It's you're so dramatic. It's also on the shore of Lake Michigan, which is near a power plant. So I don't know if you want to hike near a power plant. There were and a lot of the people who were backpacking were like, we thought we would get away from all the noise and it would be nice and peaceful, next to this power plant trail. And they were like, no, we had loud trains. We heard fireworks. We could also hear noises from local bars. So I don't know how close this is getting to the city, but that seems like a really, I don't know, discouraging situation to be in if you wanted to go over there.
All right.
So,
okay.
I don't know.
I think that's good. I think there's not a lot of national parks in the Midwest and the East, and so there's kind of few and far between compared to the West. So I get it. You want to have something out there, and there's not mountains in Indiana, so
There's not a lot.
yeah. So you got to take what you get, right?
You gotta go with the dunes. You gotta go with the dunes.
Yeah, but you don't like them.
I mean, I don't have a desire to do that, but maybe you do.
I'm not doing a very good job of coming up with alternatives here as we're going. So let me backtrack to Rocky Mountain National Park. If you want Rocky Mountains, the area around Rocky Mountain National Park is littered with wilderness areas like Indian Peaks. And then if you go a little farther south, you just sign up for a permit at the trailhead at Lost Creek Wilderness. It's one of my favorite places to go. So there's lots of options.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Indiana Dunes, in terms of alternatives, I don't know. Like, would you go to like Isle Royale, or would you go to someplace up? Why don't you like that? It's like it's like the least visited national park. You're not gonna get the crowds.
Least visited. I wonder why.
Because it's hard to get to. It's a Midwestern Michigan National Park.
Right.
It's hard to get to. Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
well, sounds like a joke. I mean, I guess if you want to go,
All the Midwesterners that are listening, which is a lot of them, are loving your attitude,
it's
Derek.
not that. It's like, if you're saying it's hard to get to, that can be kind of annoying too. Is that a deterrent to go to the pet national park?
Yeah, but that's an attractive part of it, the fact that it's so remote and that there's not a lot of people there.
Is it on your list?
It is.
Oh, there you go. Huh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Pictured
Shocker.
rocks, that's up there too. Just saying.
Okay, well,
All right, my last one is worst national park to go to. This is the scariest one.
okay.
This one, I think, when you say like scary, like what you're concerned about, this one literally has all the scary things.
Like, are you talking like lore and creepy stories and like superstitious stuff going on, right?
Everything.
Okay.
All the above.
Okay.
It's got aliens.
Wait. Was this one of the parks we did in a previous episode where we talked about some creepy stories? Was it in a park? Is this
I don't know.
is this
Maybe.
one of the park? No,
We've done a lot of episodes.
I think it might be. I think it might be.
Okay.
I'm thinking of we did some like creepy. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's got the aliens. It's got like people that go missing without a trace in areas that are not obscured by forest. It's got Bigfoot. It's got supposedly like a civilization that lives inside the mountain. It's got everything. Yeah,
That sounds
it's got,
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Mount Shasta National Park. So
yeah.
if you
Yeah.
are somebody who doesn't want to get, I don't know, one suggested that you might be going through portals there and could disappear forever. You could be time traveling through some of these portals. You could be going to different dimensions. There's alien ships that are apparently constantly hovering above. If any of these things are concerning to you, I would avoid this park like the plague.
Sounds like we need to go.
You want to go?
You know, maybe the dwarves are in the mountain. We could,
There
from
could
Lord
be.
of the Rings or something. We can meet
If a
them.
random portal appeared, like who's most likely to kind of fall through it, do you think?
Oh, I'm jumping through that. That'd be great.
Are you?
Oh, let's see
you?
where it goes. Why
Okay.
not?
Because when people supposedly disappear, they don't come back. They're gone forever. It's like without a trace.
Is the porthole going to disappear when I go into it?
Probably.
Is it going to stay there?
I mean, I don't know if portals exist, so I'm not sure I can really give you the lowdown.
You're supposed to know everything. Why don't you just Google that like you did everything else today?
Is there a portal national park? I don't think so.
I think there is.
Okay.
It's next to Bigfoot National Park. So
That would be a good national park for sure.
that'd be a
Okay.
great national park.
Do you have any more?
Those are good. I did have one more. It's kind of I mean, we could talk about it. It's
Is it allowed backpack?
I don't know if I'm saying this right. Congaree National Park. Congaree. This is in South Carolina.
All right.
And it's got, I think the deterrent was it does have a handful of small trails that you can backpack on. However, the longer trails in this park are in a floodplain and they're inaccessible. But one of my biggest deterrents for this park was not that. It was that the trails are poorly maintained. And so oftentimes visitors will go wander off the trail and they'd end up in places that they weren't supposed to be at. And so it's also in what is considered the heart of mosquito country, even in the winter. Yeah. So
Even in the winter?
not even in the winter, as we've talked about previously. So yeah, it doesn't seem that appealing to me. So
Okay. Gotcha.
let's avoid that one.
I don't know the Carolinas as well in terms of alternatives, but I
Well, you're
did.
Googling, so you figured it out.
I'm not. I did come with an alternative for Mount Shasta, though. If you're looking for like a little bit kind of edgy backpacking trip, but you don't want all that stuff, I would backpack in and around Area 51 because you know what? That's safer.
Is it?
Yeah. Than Mount Shasta?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Area 51.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, nothing creepy happens out in Area 51. So it's probably good.
right.
sounds like a promising alternative.
It is.
That's good. Those are good.
Okay, so what do we miss? Are we wrong on any of these? Are these places that you love to go backpacking and maybe we're missing something? Or are there other national parks that should be on this list? And yeah, let us know.
I'm sure there's more, and I'm sure everybody agrees, and nobody will disagree at all, right?
Well, I'll tell you one. I'll give you one to shoot for that should be a national park, but it's not. If this place were a national park, it would be top 3 in terms of sheer natural beauty. No permits required. Show up at the trailhead. It's super awesome. This is a place that could be an alternative for all of these, and that is the Wind River Range. And there's so many trails there. So I don't know why it's not more popular. If you want to add them to your list, like you want to talk about Googling, Google some pictures there. That should be on your list right there. Yeah.
Google it. Yeah. That is really
You haven't been there yet, so I'm hoping you'll make it one of these years.
I haven't. No, I didn't get to go on that one.
I've been 3 times now, and you've rejected every single one, but that's beside the point.
Every time. Didn't you do like a family trip over there, though?
I did not.
Oh, well.
I did 2 Patreon trips and one of our July trips. Okay. So,
and you had horrible weather on 2 of those, I think, right?
We had. I mean, it's not the best for weather, but typically we got. I think like 2 or 3 out of the 4 days were good. So it was good enough.
2 or 3. All right, that's good enough. All right,
yeah, it's good enough. Okay. All right. So I got national parks trivia for Derek coming up right after this.
Giddy up.
Do you struggle with joint pain, breathing at altitude, uneven terrain, or simple exhaustion? Then it's time to up your trail game, folks, with our good friend Roan from Summit Strength. He's got a specialized program that will be just right for you to conquer your next adventure. Don't be left behind by the group again. Get your hands off your knees, get your butt off the log, and feel good getting after it with Summit Strength. The link to your success is always in our episode description, but you can check out all the information you need at summitstrength.com.au/online. It's time to be strong and pain-free for your next adventure. National Parks Trivia is brought to us by Teton. If you're looking for a backpacking tent, you should consider the Teton Mountain Ultra. It comes in 4 different sizes. It's got high-quality aluminum poles, and it's based in Salt Lake City, and it backs all their products with a lifetime warranty. One thing that impressed me was the Mountain Ultra actually fits the number of people it says it does. If you buy a 2-person tent, it actually fits 2 people. In fact, they've got a video showing how the Teton 2-person Mountain Ultra was the same size as a standard backpacking 3-person tent. So, Derek, when you shop for a tent, like what size are you usually going for and why?
What size am I going for?
Yeah.
Ooh, well, I'd probably go 3-man because I got to think about, obviously I'm going to share it with somebody, usually you. And then
nice of you.
I have to account for the amount of rolling that you do. And you try to crush me, and you just take up just a lot of space. So and then you have the extra wide, egregious sleeping pad. So all these things, I think I have to consider. So probably a 3-man with you.
Okay.
So
you're flailing and screaming out with nightmares is not related to the 3-person choice.
No, that's not even an issue. All right.
Well, the Mountain Ultra comes in a 3-person size, so just throwing that out.
Well, I'm set.
Okay. All right.
I'm set.
Okay, so I got National Parks trivia. Neither of us have lost
a
trivia yet this season, and
let's see if you can make me look as stupid as possible. Here we go.
I'm not trying to. I'm just asking you simple questions.
I'm ready. Folks, he's already Googled me every answer I gave tonight, and he was wrong every time.
Okay. The last time we had National Parks trivia, you passed, so I don't know what you're freaking out about. And one of the questions is the 3rd time we're asking this in trivia, so you should get this one right. That's number 1.
Have I got it wrong every time? Is that
I think you've asked it once and I've asked it once, and I think we both got it wrong.
I feel like I'm supposed to fail this trivia just to make things look a little easier for you.
We'll see.
What
is the number 1 most visited national park?
Oh,
is it okay? This is actually funny. Is it A, Smoky Mountain, B, Yellowstone, C, Grand Canyon, or letter D? I really had this written down before we started meeting up. Big Sur. I really had that on the list. Like truly. That was one of my answers, and you had the Big Sur mug. That's funny.
Look who's silly now, huh? Yeah,
I know. I'm silly. I am silly.
I'm glad you at least admitted that. That's huge. Okay, so Great Smoky Mountain National. What was it? Yosemite?
Yellowstone?
Yellowstone. Oh, I'm leaning. It's not. I would think it's Yosemite. I don't think it's Yosemite though.
Okay.
I think it's either.
I'll give you a hint on that. I'll give you a big hint. It's definitely not Yosemite since that was not one of the options.
Oh, I thought you said Yosemite. Okay, I mean Yellowstone, not Yosemite. I want to say it's. It's either Grand Canyon or I'm gonna say Great Smoky Mountain.
Okay, Smoky Mountain is correct. Third time's the charm. You got it right. You got it right.
I thought it was
Number
Grand
2.
Canyon,
Which national park is in North Dakota? A. Badlands. B. Theodore Roosevelt. C. Mount Rushmore. Or D. Black Hills.
Oh, national park in Dakotas.
North Dakota.
There's
2 Dakotas. The other one's South Dakota. FYI.
I know the Badlands are over there. I want to say but that's. I think that's South Dakota.
You could be right.
I think because I remember watching the show Into the Badlands, and I think somebody said, I think that's South Dakota. Is that South Dakota? So what was the other one? Theodore Roosevelt. What was the other one?
Mount Rushmore, Black Hills.
Oh, Black Hills. I don't think it's. I think it's Theodore Roosevelt.
Theodore Roosevelt.
Is that
your
it?
answer? Is that your answer?
Final.
Correct. Wow, 2 for 2. Number 3.
Are you a little annoyed right now? Are you a little annoyed that I'm getting all
I'm
these
excited for you.
Are
I'm
you?
rooting for you. I'm always
The
rooting for
Googling
you,
earlier didn't really send that message, but okay, go.
Yeah. Well,
Continue.
That's quite true. Yellowstone was the first national park established in 1872. Which president made it happen? A. Ulysses S. Grant. B.
Oh, we did this
Abraham Lincoln. C. Theodore Roosevelt. Or D. Woodrow Wilson.
We did this question before.
Did we? I don't
I've
think
heard
so.
this before.
I
Yeah,
made
I've
this
heard
up.
this question before.
Out of my head.
It was like some deal. Yeah, it was some deal. Okay, so it's Abraham Lincoln, Theodore Roosevelt, Woodrow, and what was the other one?
Abraham Lincoln.
Ulysses S. Grant?
And Ulysses S.
No, I
Grant.
did Abraham.
Yeah.
Ulysses. Okay. I'm gonna say no Abraham. No Ulysses. I don't think so. I want it Woodrow or what was the other one?
Theo.
Theo. Was it? I feel like would we do back-to-back Theos?
That would definitely throw you off.
Shoot. It would throw me off.
I would do something like that.
Now I'm leaning towards not doing it. See, I think you
Exactly.
know that. You know that I would think that. I'm like leveling myself. Let's just go Theo. I think it's Woodrow, but I'm going to go Theo.
All right. Incorrect on both accounts. It was Ulysses S. Grant, my friend.
Oh,
Grant.
was.
Yeah.
Do you have the story behind it? Wasn't it like he did something to protect it for some reason?
Yeah,
or
he was
something?
the general in the Civil War that like lost a bunch, then eventually won, and then he was a couple presidents after Abraham Lincoln, and that's all I really know about him. He didn't. I don't know that he did a whole lot as president, but yeah.
Well,
anyway,
okay.
you still passed, so well done. Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
It's good.
So last week on our episode, you had trivia, and you had a wonky trivia question
Oh, wonky.
that was reliant
Wonky.
upon an answer from one of our good buddies named Rocky, and
Yep.
you said he was unwilling or just didn't get back to you in time, and you gave him forever. And here's his response.
Yo, B&B, Carl, Derek, hey, it's Rock. Steven Smith, My Life Outdoors, awesome. Dude, Steven Smith, God bless you, sir. You're a genius. Think of some great things. If you put that thinking into football, my friend, you'd probably change the game. So if you ever want to coach football, let Carl know, and then I'll bring you down and we'll coach, and it'll be great. And you'll think of stuff that nobody else has thought of for football. Not even Andy Reid. I know. Chiefs lost. But hey, people. All right. So anyways, I am wanting to say one more thing about something that needs to kind of be set straight. Derek said that he sent me a text asking for an answer. I actually gave him the answer, but I gave him the answer 3 hours later. Here's why. He sent me a text at 3:40. I have not gotten a text from Derek probably in about 5 years, maybe longer. I'd say probably 7 or 8 years. When he sent me a text, it was at 3:40. That is when I'm finishing work on a Tuesday and running over to help out with the Bible study on our campus for 10 or 15 minutes, then going back and cleaning up and getting everything ready for the next work day. And then I'm going home to get my son right after that to a weightlifting deal at 5 o'clock. And then after that, I'm going straight from the weightlifting deal at 6 to pick up my youngest son at basketball at 6:30. So when he said I didn't get back to him, he wanted an answer apparently at 6:30. And, I'm not looking at my phone while I'm driving or working or helping with the Bible study or weightlifting or doing basketball right then. So, Derek, there was no chance to respond, man. You got to send a little more warning than 6 or 7 years in advance.
All right, so Rocky's calling you out. He doesn't really call people out a lot, and he just called out Derek. So shots fired, Derek. What you got?
Good. It's good. Shots fired. I welcome shots. So Rock, I don't. Here's my confusion. Is Rock okay? Well, let me just preface with saying this. So I know Rocky's a very busy individual. His plate is full. The man's an animal. There's no denying that. But you do have to use the restroom at some point during the day. And what a great opportunity to shoot me a little text, right? So that is problem number one. Number two, he said I didn't text him. I haven't texted him for 6 years. I mean, I have texts on my phone right here that I also documented right here that we were texting like 6 months ago. And then like last year we texted a bunch. And then
Do you take screenshots of text for Rocky for evidence? Is that what's going on here?
do you want me to do that? I mean, I could,
wouldn't mind.
but that's a little extreme. Yeah. That's a little extreme.
Okay.
But yeah, we've been texting. So I'm not sure. It's a little blown out of proportion, a little exaggerated. Thought he was a man of the Lord who told the truth, and I know he is, but I don't know. This is a little shocking. So, but I know in all seriousness, though, I know he was busy that day. I took a gamble at like early in the afternoon and I thought I could get it. But even when he did respond, it was hard to get an answer. So, and then I think he picked me and, I forgot
But nobody knows what you're talking about.
It was about glamping. It was about glamping.
Okay. Right.
Who's closest to glamping? So apparently I was known for not doing camp chores, he said. Ouch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean, oh, yeah? I'm the one, I filter regularly, do the fire when we go to a park that has a fire.
You're either all in or you're all out. You're like one of the more helpful guys, or you do nothing.
Here's the challenge with doing camp chores sometimes, because if there's a park with no fires, I'm not doing that. I will go filter water whenever. But when I have tried, folks, to help Carla with the tent packing or unpacking, it becomes a very type A drill sergeant type experience where it's like, dude, what are you doing? You need to do this, and then you need to do that. And I'm like, you know what? Why don't you just handle that, and then I'll go pick up some sticks to draw on the sand or the dirt, and I'll come back and make your dinner for you or something. I don't know. It's pretty intense, though.
Let's change roles. If you saw me trying to put the tent up inside out, wouldn't you correct me?
Inside out? What are you talking about? You're just making stuff up now.
All right, let's get back to Rocky's MP3, because I think this is interesting. I would like to be the non-impartial judge here and come to both of your defenses and then go on the offense with both of you guys. All right, first of all, generally speaking, Rocky actually is one of the best people at responding to text. In general, he's actually really good at responding to text. On the other hand, Derek calling Rocky out is very ironic, because Derek, out of all the people I know, is the worst. You're literally the number one seed at responding to text. You're terrible. So to call somebody else out for not responding is crazy to me. That being said, okay. I do believe you that you have texted him like more recently than 6 years ago, because I know that we've been on flights together where you've got to take him to the airport and you're checking in on him. So I know that that's happened for a fact. So I believe you on that.
Thanks.
Then Rocky went off about his day, and that's not Derek's fault. So Rocky, you have a crazy day. Your life is a crazy day, essentially, and that's not on Derek. So I'm on both of your sides here.
Okay. Find me a day, Rocky, where it's not crazy. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't exist, and I love both you guys, but I think you're both right and you're both wrong in this case. So
I think we're just gonna have to go jump in some cold water, Rocky, next trip to purify our little situation here. Okay, so that's how we'll get over that.
Okay. All right. Last tidbit I got is I got a text today from Devin Ashby, Backcountry Exposure, famous YouTube channel. Love that guy. He just texted me. He's like, I'm just so glad that Derek's back on the show. He was happy to hear your voice back on the show.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Yeah, we'll have Devin on if he's willing to come on. That is, I haven't asked him officially yet, but hopefully this upcoming season. And he always does some good stuff. So, Devin, thanks, man. We appreciate you. That's all I got.
That is all I have. That was fabulous. It's good to be back. Thank you guys. We have gotten some kind messages from everybody being back. It was a rough time away. I don't know if Carl will give you all the details. I'm not happy. But for those of you that didn't hear, one of my daughters passed away. So that is why I stepped away and just had some time to kind of reflect. I wasn't in a mood to entertain, which is weird to say, because I'm always in the mood to entertain people and make them smile. So it's good to be back. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We will see you next time on the B&B, and go find a trail that's not made of sludge, radioactive waste, or poison ivy.
I want to fly around the world.
There's a trail. It's a national park, believe it or not. It's right behind my house, and it's probably the worst trail because Carl and me went to do some filming there long ago with Nalgene bottles and whatnot. I don't know, make some stories up and some YouTube videos and whatnot. So we were out there, and the reason to me it's one of the worst isn't because it's not marked and it's a very nice trail, but it's because Carl was afraid on the trail. I mean, it's in the middle of a community, and he saw rabbits, guys. He saw crickets and grasshoppers. He was so scared. I had to then carry him on my back the entire time as a piggyback. So for me, well, maybe for me, it is the worst national park ever. So because Carl's fear got the best of him, as it usually does.